I think the green screen is actually working. Check this out.
Clicky.
What do you think? Hello everyone. Welcome to today's cozy Friday stream. I'm just sitting here vibing, and I figured I would talk a bit about something that has been, well, my life for the past year or so. Because it's been almost a year since the YouTube channel actually became my job. And about, what is it? Not entirely a year, but like 10 months or something until I officially was completely full-time. And it's interesting, and there was a lot of things that I never expected. I think one of the things that surprised me the most about doing YouTube as a full-time job, and I think that goes for most people who are self-employed, not necessarily creators or artists or stuff like that. There are so many things that you have taken for granted when you're employed by someone else. Everything from insurance to making sure your taxes are paid on time. Like, holy crap, I have to calculate my own taxes now? I mean, I had to do it somewhat before, but it was very simple. You got a document and you said, yeah, I haven't had any earnings as part of my job this year, and it's gone. That's it. Now it's like, oh, I have to do bookkeeping for an entire year. These are things that I feel are important to talk about, because a lot of people don't see them before I know I didn't, before they make the leap into doing it as an online job. Because there is a lot of things you always take for granted. Take this for an example. One thing that is so stressful about being a YouTuber, I'm not going to complain because it's the best job I've ever had, for sure. But one thing that is really stressful is that even no matter how hard I tried, I could not tell you how much I would make as a salary next month. It could be super good, it could be zero. Maybe my channel gets copyright striked and all money is gone forever. Like that means that you have to keep some kind of margin for yourself, because the only insurance is really that. You don't have that guarantee at a regular office, for example. You would have that if you get fired, they still pay you 2 or 3 months of salary unless you do some really serious breach or something. And that doesn't really exist. You really are on the frontier in that sense. And while that sounds incredibly dramatic, to some sense it's kind of true. And that was one of the things that I would recommend, especially younger people, if they are thinking about going full-time as a creator. There are a lot of things that everything is held in the balance, yeah, for sure. So many things that you would take for granted or you don't even think about at a normal job. That was really a huge difference when I made the leap. Another thing is just, it sounds so strange to say it, but being a YouTuber is an incredibly lonely job. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic or like, oh, look at me, feel bad for me, I'm a YouTuber with followers, oh my god, sad. No, it's not like that. I have friends, believe it or not. I'm making such a good case for myself. No, but it is a lonely job. I think my day-to-day interaction, it's partially because of Corona as well, so I can't entirely blame it on the career switch, but a lot of it are. I think my day-to-day interactions, like face-to-face with people, decreased with probably 70 to 80% when I went full-time YouTube. Because I no longer spend time on public transport. I no longer went to an office with other people. I no longer went out for lunch with clients or colleagues. I no longer did any of these things. I never attended meetings anymore in that manner. So even though I met a lot of awesome people, it's not the same thing. You don't get that face-to-face interaction on a daily basis. That is something you have to seek out yourself, which was the first time in my life I have to actually seek out that kind of stuff. Because in the past, it's always been, oh, you go to school and you meet your classmates, or oh, you go to the office and you meet your colleagues and you have an after work or something. Thank you, Jacqueline, for subscribing. You're a beautiful person. Welcome to the sub squad. This one is all for you. Mwah. And I think this is the first chapter in my life, so to say, when I have to seek out that kind of social activities on my own accord. It always happened by default earlier, at least a large portion of it. Another thing that I find fascinating, and I've seen this floating around a lot actually, is theories about how much YouTubers make. How much does an average YouTuber make? And that is such a grayscale. Holy crap. It varies so much. But I have never had a problem with talking about it, but I am incredibly picky with who I tell what the channel makes, and it's not because I'm ashamed of it, but it's because the calculation isn't a salary. It's very different from when you have a job and you get a direct salary. Let me bring up a calculation example to kind of explain what I'm getting at. So let's say you run a YouTube channel, have a couple of 100,000 subs, and you upload on a regular basis. Maybe you make $10,000 a month. It's a pretty reasonable assumption for a channel that size. Then you can say, holy crap, 10,000 a month? That is insane. That's like, for me, that's almost 3 times what I made, at my old job. It's a really, not really in the top 1%, but it's like top 2% of the population. It's super good. But then you say, hold on a second, those 10,000, it's not really a salary. It's the business revenue of the company that you have the channel under. With that calculation example, this is me talking biz and running small companies. But if you have a YouTube channel that makes 10 grand a month, the initial reaction that you would have is, holy shit, you make 10 grand a month. That is insane.
You deserve praise. You're awesome.
Oh, I put this back on my table. Let's compare that to a similar business model to what I run. So if you have a channel that makes 10 grand a month, a lot of channels are part of an MCN. I am, for example, and they take a small percentage cut of the ad revenue, and they act kind of security. They can appeal things for you on YouTube. They can, escalate copyright things, that kind of stuff. The things that are kind of difficult to do as a creator because YouTube don't really talk to us directly. And they take a 10% cut, so you're instantly down to 9,000. Then you can say, all right, I also have some expenses every month. For example, I have editors that help me do videos. And while I still edit a fair amount of videos myself, because I think it's fun, I still hand off a reasonable amount of them because it would be way too time-consuming. I need to sleep. And let's say editors, artist commissions, that kind of stuff. Let's say it's about $2,000 a month, roughly. Then you're down to 7. And then say, okay, what else? I have one person that does bookkeeping for me, for example, because that is incredibly time-consuming to learn yourself. I understand it, but I wouldn't be able to do it myself, at least not 100% correctly. People managing your bookkeeping, subscriptions for gaming servers, Discord bots, rights for fonts, different licensing, programs, new hardware, you name it. So let's say you're down to 6 on a monthly average. You can say, oh, 6,000 a month. That's freaking good, fam. That's so much cash. Not so fast. The tricky thing, which was such a freaking punch in the balls for me when I first went full time, because you don't think about it, it's that if you want to take advantage of, for example, the public pension, all that kind of stuff, you need the money to go into your company and not to you as a private person, which means that you not only pay income tax, you also pay an employer tax with the company. So those $6,000, first the company pays 30% tax on them, so you're instantly down to 4. And then you get to pay income tax, which is another 30%. So you get to keep, like, I don't know what, 2.8. So if you make 10 grand a month, you can pocket like maybe 3 grand yourself, something like that. Then there are positive sides to it too. When you run a business, you can do things like write-offs. For example, the 2 screens I bought so I could properly stream, they are write-offs, which means that I don't have to pay them with a salary. I pay them with the gross revenue of the company, and also they are tax-free. So stuff like that, because they count as things you need to make your business do the whoopies. Oh, 3K is definitely not a bad salary. For sure not. But it hardly makes you a billionaire.
This is super fascinating, but my first question is, how to be interesting? Sorry for interrupting you.
How to be interesting as a creator? That is a very good question. It's incredibly difficult. So, this is, by the way, just for full context, this is not me complaining about anything. This is just me explaining why I don't talk about numbers that much, because there is so much that goes into it. And there's so much business and expenses behind the scenes that people don't see, which means that it's hard to give a full context for it. And also it's kind of company sensitive, I suppose. Anyway, so how to be interesting as a creator? And you're asking me? Okay, I feel flattered, but you should probably check out the dude next door. Okay, I'm joking, obviously. I'm super interested. Not really. But the best advice I can probably give when it comes to trying to be interesting as a creator is doing something you think is fun, which is super cliche, but if you're not having fun with the videos you make, it will eventually show up in the content. That's, for example, why the thing I'm the most proud about right now is my music channel. Even though it's small, even though it barely, makes anything significant in terms of business, it's something that I'm passionate about. So whenever I have the time to sit down with it, I really put my all into it because it's so fun and it's different and it's something that I savor. And that's when the good quality comes out in the end. You still need tons of practice and you need to try so many different things until you find something that sticks. But if you're talking about growth, if you're talking about moving content creation to the point where it can be a job, there are two different types of clout, I want to say. And I don't like that word because it's used so flexy, so to say. But there are two different types of clout, basically. The first one is what I would like to call wide circle clout. It's when you make a video about a certain trend, and people watch the video because of the trend and maybe because you have something interesting to add, but they won't necessarily be super invested in you per se. As soon as that trend stops or you start making videos about something else, 90% of those viewers will disappear. Then there is the second type of clout, which is inner circle clout. These are the people that follow you because of you. They are the people that will watch whatever garbage you put out. Speaking from my own experience. So, for example, if I were to talk about my own community, the inner circle we have here is the people who are on the Discord, the people who hang out here on stream, the people who follow me across the very different channels. Midnight Blonde, thank you for the subscription, and 3 months. Holy crap, we're really growing old together. Thank you for supporting the stream. You're a beautiful person. So that was something that I realized. Oh, I shouldn't drink carbonated. Yikes, so polite click. Jesus, wow, it's like standing on stage and just burping into the microphone, so professional. Anyway, that was something I realized pretty early on. The first real wave with the style of content I do now is when I found Noah Get the Boat, which really kickstarted the channel. It was bonkers. But pretty soon I realized that this trend will not last forever. I can make maybe a dozen, maybe 20 videos, and it can still be interesting, something like that. You don't build a career from 20 videos, at least most people don't. There are exceptions that are incredibly successful and good at what they do. But for us normal mortals, you typically don't build a long-term career of 20 videos. So when that trend dies, you need to either somehow secure these people that found you so they follow you because of you, or you need to find the next trend. And both of these can be kind of difficult because getting people to be super involved with you requires putting on a very, how should I put it, putting out a personality that people want to subscribe to, not only in terms of YouTube subscription, but are genuinely interested in. It's like any series you watch on Netflix. Half of the fun is watching the characters develop and interact and be dramatic. If you didn't have that, people would forget about it instantly. And the other option, of course, and it's always a combination of these two, is to find the next trend. And that is something that is very stressful about doing content, especially when it comes to YouTube and those kind of things. Because one trend, let's say gacha, for example, it's the biggest trend on my channel right now. Gunpeak, thank you for subscribing. Beautiful. Mwah. Pinch. And that's the biggest trend on my channel now. I think I've made 8 videos that are uploaded. I think I have the 9th one is on the way right now. And while that is super fun, it gets a lot of attention. I can even sneak in, my wholesome moments in the middle of it, where I'm like, hey, kids, this is bad values, because reasons. Ty Chris, thank you for subscribing. You're a beautiful person. This one is all for you. Mwah. So while the trend is super fun, while I can add a surprising amount to it for just being cringy cartoons, it's still very finite. I expect maybe I can make 5 more videos about gacha before the topic is watered down. That's when I've said everything that can be said. With the gacha thing, even though it's super funny, I'm even having fun doing it, even though it looks like my sanity is slowly rotting away while I'm doing it. It is a lot of fun, because some things are so outrageous, some things are just so unexpected. It's really interesting. Even with that, I can make maybe another 5 videos, 10 tops, but I really doubt it, until that gets watered down. And at that point, I have said everything that can be said about it. The memes are starting to repeat themselves, and it's just the same thing over and over. So even with those really powerful trends, they die kind of quickly in the online world. One of those trends lasts for, a couple of months, maybe, something like that. And then it's on to the next one. So getting to work, at least on YouTube in the sense I do, there are different ways of doing it. You can be a completely independent musician, for example. Much harder to break through, but also easier to retain your audience once you have them. But very few can manage to do that, relatively speaking. So on YouTube, it's always that combination of finding the next trend to make sure that the channel grows, or at least that you gain enough subscribers so it makes up for the people that slowly fall off and go inactive and that kind of stuff. In a perfect world, I would love to stagnate around the size I'm at right now. I don't need anything else. If there was a god controlling the YouTube algorithm and how things work, I would say, let me stagnate around 500,000 subs.
A day keeps the sadness away, green heart.
Yes, a meep sheep a day keep the sadness away. Cheers. If there was a magic YouTube god I could pray to, I would say if I could stagnate around 500,000 subs and just kind of cruise there without really growing to be any more significant, but not also dropping off, where I could just be that size. Because right now I feel like there is no real point of me growing more. And with that said, of course, I still try to grow, because in the real world that is YouTube, if you have 0 growth, you will slowly start dying because people lose interest and you need that fresh wave of people to slowly trickle. But in the perfect world, I wouldn't need that. I can already do everything. So stagnating, if there was a perfect world, I could stagnate at 500,000 subs, and that's even me being spoiled. Because there's nothing else I really feel I need to strive for. But in the perfect world, you need that trickle of subs for the channel to remain healthy and keeping in the algorithm and etc, etc. But in a perfect world, I wouldn't need to grow anymore. I can already do everything I want to do. I already have enough to, make entertaining streams. We even did a charity stream as a special for 400k, and it went super well. The donations are going to happen soon, by the way. I'm still just waiting for the transactions to happen because, YouTube is slow and everything I have currently is in the wrong currency. But, we can do charity streams and they do well. I did a plushie print and that also did well. We do streaming here. I can do weird experimental videos. I have a second channel where I can just go bananas with my music stuff. I can do anything I want. I'm so incredibly spoiled.
The previous question, but how do you find the thing you're most compatible with?
Well, that is hard. But anyway, I'm incredibly spoiled. I can do most of the things I want to do as of this right now, and I don't really need anything else. Anyway, so how do you find the thing you're most compatible with? I don't have a magic recipe. If I put it this way, I can walk you through the different chapters about my channel and my time on YouTube and online as a creator. I started my channel back in 2009. Can you imagine? There are probably some people who have sneaking into the chat. You shouldn't be here, by the way, 13 plus, because social media. But there are probably people that have seen my videos that weren't even born. There are probably people that see my videos that are younger than my channel, which is worrying. Makes me kind of uncomfortable, but still. It's the harsh truth. I did sneak into things when I was a kid too. And back in 2009, the first videos I made was of a game called Nazi Zombies in Call of Duty. And I think the absolutely first video uploaded was a glitch where you could become invulnerable. And that became my first niche for my channel. The click 13 plus glimmer. Yes, good. And that was the first niche I ever did back in 2009. I made like exploit tips or tricks style videos for this very specific gaming genre. That was the zombie mode in Call of Duty. Then I started mixing in some Call of Duty commentaries. I made montages of FPS games. The kind of stuff everyone did back then. That was like the big deal on YouTube. Then around 2010, 2011, I started getting into Let's Plays. Amnesia, Slender Man, Minecraft comes to mind. And that was the first time my channel did really well. For the time, at least. It was, nowadays it was very small, but in those days that was kind of significant. I still have the same partnership contract. I got it back in 2010 or something. And that was the first time YouTube started. It wasn't a job, but it was like a weekend job. It was something I did on the side and got a bit of extra pay for it and could do it for fun. And it was the first time I saw the style of content I made actually be successful. To some extent. I mean, there were more successful people than I, and there always will be, but...
I was actually thinking of starting
Sarek,
a channel
welcome.
soon, and I like listening to YouTubers talking about their experience.
I would say definitely do it. I mean, you could easily do like speed paints or something,
Do our
or
best. I
tutorials.
Hope that's right. I'm not Swedish. I just think it's a beautiful language.
Aw, thank you, Moon Bunny Creative. But yeah, Sarek, you should definitely try your channel. And I mean, the thing with it, you have nothing to lose. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Fade Div, thank you for subscribing. Mwah. Don't put the pressure on yourself about it. It should be fun. That's where everything starts. I mean, back when I first started my channel, I didn't even know that you could make money on YouTube. I'm not even sure that you could back then. I just uploaded stuff that I thought was fun, or that I wanted to share with the world, or being creative, or playing video games, or whatever it might be. And, yeah, just do it for fun. And if something happens because of it, awesome. But even if it doesn't, you didn't lose anything.
And just like that, I learned more about business and life than school ever taught me. Also a question, does it feel weird to be isolated when most creators you work with live on a whole other continent?
Somewhat. But we do solve it to some extent. For example, I would say my day cycle is like a regular office day, but skewed a few hours. So instead of going up at like 7 or 6 in the morning, I go up at like 9. But then I stay awake till like 12 p.m., 1 a.m., something like that. So...
You're giving good advice, so here's another question. At what point do you think you should split the workload and maybe hire someone?
That is a good question. There are two ways of thinking about it. The first one is simply a more soft value. When do you think it's not fun anymore? When are you doing something that you have been doing for such a long time that you're getting sick of it, and you feel that your lack of ambition because of this particular task is affecting the quality of the work? The other aspect is when it is monetarily justifiable. For example, if I put it this way, it would make no sense for me to edit all of my videos myself, because the channel as a whole does better if I spend... Hey, thank you for gifting subs! The Sarah... oh god, wait, it's scrolling too fast. The Sarah Dakalite, thank you. I hope I didn't... I probably butchered that name, yikes. But thank you for the 2 gifted subs, you're a beautiful person, this one is all for you. Mwah. So the first is a soft value, when you think it's tedious to the point where it's negatively affecting the work. The other one is the monetary aspect. For example, I would say when I went into having editors for the channel, and they are still, they don't edit all my videos, I still edit some myself because I think it's fun and it's a good way to stay invested with your content. But it would not make sense for me to edit all my videos myself, because the channel as a whole does better when I can spend more time looking up new content, researching topics, recording more videos, instead of editing. So for the business as a whole, it makes much more sense that I produce more content, but someone else helps me do the heavy lifting with editing. That's one balance when it makes a lot of sense to start outsourcing tasks. And it doesn't have to be only about that. It doesn't have to be monetarily justifiable, for example. When the podcast, it's kind of semi on hold right now, but for the podcast, for example, I did with One Topic, the podcast was barely breaking even. And we still hired, people to help with artwork, we hired people to help with editing, and all that kind of jazz. And that was mainly because it was a side project and we couldn't put that much time into it ourselves. So outsourcing those things really helped keeping the thing afloat. So there are many different ways of thinking about when it's appropriate to outsource work. But I would say when the business has reached a size where it no longer makes sense to do everything yourself, when the scalability of the business has grown past one person, then it makes a lot of sense. But you can do it before that as well. It totally depends on what your goal is. If it is making a job and career out of it, or if it is more just having fun and doing something together with someone. It's there are a lot of thoughts that go into it, but those were my priorities in the projects that I have had. Yeah, and it's also fun to work with people. Like, goddamn, I was skeptical getting help from editors at first and hiring people to do stuff, because first off, it's pretty, well, it's expensive. It really is. But at the end of the day, it was a win-win for everyone, because the channel started doing better with more videos. The editor got work with a nice paycheck, and I could actually sleep. I didn't sit up to 2 a.m. every day and edit videos. Skincare. Would like to know your skin. My skincare routine is pretty much non-existent, fam. Jesus Christ. I would say I wash it pretty basically. Oh my god, my girlfriend always kills me because I don't use soap enough. Don't tell her I said that. Jesus, she will murder me. Lisa the Witch, thank you for... Damn, we have so many gifted subs today.
How do you feel about your community? How did it reach to? Did it help you? And how does it feel knowing you created this?
Oh god, it's that kind of question. How does it feel to create a monster? No, I'm kidding. The whole community is more wholesome than I am. But I'd say it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling, and I think part of the reason is because you don't actually see everyone physically. When I just look, and now I'm just talking about numbers, everything isn't about numbers, but I mean, look at the Discord, almost 15,000 members. How is that even possible? That's the size of like a suburb or a small town. It's insane. How is that even possible? All I do is sit in a closet and read memes and make silly voices. So it feels unreal how large things can get on the internet. But click stop referring to OT as your girlfriend. Oh my god. But apart from that, the community is really cool. It's cool to have that interaction with people that is somewhat deeper than just someone creating a video and someone watching it. There is more engagement to it, which is also what that kind of leads into another story. But a few years back, I would say this is back in...
There's more people in this chat than in the village I grew up in.
That is insane. Damn. But one example, and this turns into a small side story again. One example is back in 2014, 2000... God, I sound old. Back in the last decade. But I started doing music more seriously. I never thought I would really take off with it, but I wanted to try it, because I had some songs I had written, I wanted to get better at producing, that kind of stuff, which is experience I still have use for today, even though music isn't my main jam. And back then I started uploading my music to YouTube, but I started doing more things. For example, I got my songs up on Spotify, that kind of stuff. But I think what killed it for me was that before that, I had already had a YouTube community with Let's Plays, with interaction. I think I had a Facebook page back then. It wasn't even Discord, and that stuff was like Facebook, really Stone Age. But you had that very tight community engagement. You had fan art made of you. You had people you actually talked with. You had real people in the comments, all this kind of stuff. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And then I switched to music. And the only interaction I had was a numbers count of how many people listened to my song, and some kind of analytics at the end of the month, like, oh, this is how many streams you got and this is the revenue. But apart from that, it was so isolated. And that was partially because I didn't have many other social medias at that time. I think it would have been fine if I, for example, had a large Twitter following, for example, and did music on a platform like that. But that's really what killed the interest for me, I think, because it was so... I need to stop fidgeting with things, but it was so disconnected. You never heard from the community, you never talked to people, and that's something very unique about the communities we create on here. It's something very unique about YouTube, about Twitch, and the communities we create over on Twitter, on Discord. it's something that I don't see in many other places. And it's kind of nice. The pen wants to escape, it's calling for help. Welcome to ASMR. But yeah, so back to the timeline of the channel, because I believe I was answering a question from Sarek and I got sidetracked like 4 times. But I think that back in 2009, I started making content about Call of Duty, zombies, that kind of stuff. Then Let's Plays 2010 to like 2011, probably up until 2012, 2013-ish, but those were the highlights. Then it was more music-driven, like 2014 up until 15, 16. Then I had a break from YouTube for a while where I didn't do much. Wait, Salty? No, Salty, ya boy! Your boy Salty! Man, your stream was killer. I caught the, like, tail of it right when I woke up, like, totally sleep-deprived, lying in bed, like, oh, Salty's streaming! Oh. It was a nice thing to wake up to, though. Welcome to the stream, fam. But... and then after the whole music chapter of it all, it went kind of into a small break. Then I started making more philosophical content. Most of it is deleted now because it came off kind of cringe and the production value was kind of off. But that was kind of nice. I remember one video, for example, where I talked a lot about statistics, for example, because that's something I studied. Back in university, I took a master in industrial management and statistical math. So that was something I wanted to share in a very easy to digest format. But, you know, I didn't really have the production value, so it just came off as me reading a PowerPoint, which was really boring. And then after a while, I started doing Reddit. I was inspired by a dude called Sorrow TV. Most of the people probably know about him. And that's the first time I saw that style of content. It's like, damn, this is actually really entertaining. And I like making funny voices. I have a microphone. I could do this. And I started making Reddit, and the first videos were horrible. That's a good lesson for anyone who wants to move into creative business, that it does take a fair amount of time to really, how should I put it? To really understand yourself or understand the content you want to make. It's very rare that someone makes one video and it's perfect from the beginning. For me, I think, just for Reddit, which is not even, you know, compared to a lot of things on YouTube, it's not even that complex of a format. And even with that, I would say it took at least a few dozen videos, at least, for me to find it, or to find my style. I think it took 6 months for me to even hit the Noah thing, when I started to realize, like, hey, being a bit cursed and having those kind of insinuations is kind of, it vibes really well with me. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And I mean, just since I started Reddit, the channel has gone through so many chapters. It went from a low-key Reddit channel to Noah, and that blew up. Then I was like the cursed Reddit YouTuber. Then furry stuff was very trendy on the channel, and I became the cursed furry Reddit channel. Then I found a few other trends that really worked. The fluffy community, for example, is super fun. It's a small community. I'm trying to be like gentle with it so it doesn't just poof. But that would be really fun to visit again at some point. Gotcha is another chapter that's also like that. Insane parents. And all of these things have such a distinct theme to them. But they're all finite, sadly. That goes for any trend, really. Oh, fluffy community is pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. It's nice because it's not only loose memes. I mean, some of it is disturbing, like Jesus Christ, but I really love it because it is an actual universe. You know, it's not only loose memes with a theme. It's not like r/teehee that I made a lot of videos on, where the theme is just, it's kind of cursed, and you go, ugh, when you see it. It's an actual story behind it. It's an entire universe, and there are characters in it, and there's lore, which makes it, when you can put the posts and the memes in that context, it makes it really entertaining. And I mean, now, after about a year, almost, of being full-time with YouTube, I've started expanding into Twitch. I've started making music, all that kind of stuff, or making music again. I never stopped, really. One of the biggest challenges I still struggle with every day, and I think that's just the human aspect. I think that goes for pretty much anyone who is full-time or self-employed or try to stay motivated. I think it was very common when I was a student too, when you didn't have much schedule and you had your exam periods. It helped a lot studying with other people to remain on task and actually be there on time. But that's one of the challenging things with doing YouTube. Getting an actual schedule and being creative. A lot of the days, you can see, oh, I worked for 12 hours today, but half of the time was me just semi-procrastinating something, you know? And that is really hard to get a good balance for.
Click, you're so fucking wholesome. RN, can I ask, how do you feel about your fan art? Like, people do stuff for you about you because of you.
I think about it a lot, and it's kind of unreal. It really is. One of my things, actually, whenever I'm having a bad day, when I'm in a bad mood or anything like that, I have a wall over here with. I think I'm gonna mess up the camera, but I'm gonna solve it this way. Check this out. I'm gonna fix this. So I'm gonna snag a picture of the other side of my room and show it to the camera. So over in the other side of my room, I have like a wall. Okay, it's not really super visible, but you can kind of see the frames. I have a wall of fan art that I have printed and framed and put on the wall. When I'm having a bad day, it's super nice to lay in the couch and just look at it. Just, holy crap, this is actually real. Because it's so impossible. I can't really wrap my head around it, that people put the time into doing that. It's absolutely unreal to me. And it feels even more unreal when I think about it. But I think fan art is one of the things that makes the whole thing feel so valuable somehow. Because it's not only that, hey, I managed to make a video about a hip meme and people like it because I did a seductive voice. You know, it's not only a meme that people could laugh about. It's so deeply invested, and yeah, that is. I really can't put words on it. It is indescribable. It is so cool. So, yeah, fan art is amazing.
That's adorable. Do you ever feel creeped out thinking about how many people talk and think about you without even knowing them?
Sometimes, but I think that goes for everyone, you know? I don't think I would, if I had a magic button where I could listen on every conversation that people ever had about me, I don't think I would press it. Because even if I wasn't a creator, even if I didn't have attention in the public eye, so to say, I'm not sure if I would want to anyway. Because, I mean, everyone talks smack about everyone. You know, that's kind of how we humans vent and how we experience social context and that kind of stuff. And something that I had to come to accept throughout life, which is something I tried way too hard when I was young, is not everyone will like you. No matter how hard you try, no, not everyone will like you. I'm gonna bring up an example out of my own experience in my far past. So back in university, my first couple of years, I had a very tight group of friends. I hadn't known them for that long. I had only known them for maybe 6 months. But they were really tight. We had a lot of things in common. We studied the same thing. We, went to pubs and parties together. But one of the guys in that group started making a very big effort of freezing me out of that group. I still don't know exactly why to this day. Maybe he didn't like me. Maybe he had heard something that I don't even know what it would be. But, I have only theories. But he slowly started freezing me out of that group, inviting everyone else over to dinner and specifically leaving me out and all that kind of jazz. And eventually, I drifted away from that group. And he did a lot of more direct, sneaky stuff, where he would sign up our names together for laborations or exams, but then bail at the last minute when everyone else was already paired up. So he was a bit shady. I'm not really sure what was going on there. It was kind of weird. But the fact remains, and here's the thing. This guy still has a girlfriend, as far as I know. He has friends. He has a job with colleagues he spends time with.
I will go now, but remember, you are fantastic.
It's all about the sweet. Thank you, Kim, and thank you so much for dropping by the stream. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. So, with this guy, for example, I can say honestly say that I don't like him because he did stuff that hurt me on a personal level. He did his best at driving friends away from me and isolate me. But at the same time, if I take a step back and don't look at it from only my perspective, he still has other friends, he has a girlfriend, he has people around him that love and appreciate him. So, in a more objective, worldly standpoint, he's not evil. You know, he's not an objectively bad person, because he couldn't have all these other things if he were the devil himself. I'm not talking about the Mimi stuff, but if he actually was bad. And I think that was a part of growing up for me, that I realized that not everyone will love everyone, and that's kind of okay. You can live and let live, and even though I, for example, don't want that guy back in my life, because of the things he did and never apologized for, I can also recognize that he has other friends that actually appreciate him, and they have something in common, and they help each other, and he has a girl that loves him, and all that stuff. So he can't be all bad, if that makes sense. You know, maybe our interactions was so subjective that we fell apart. Maybe he had heard something about me that he thought was super bad. Maybe I had done something that I wasn't even aware of. Anything could have happened, really. But at the end of the day, it's a live and let live. I have no point in trying to ruin something for that guy just because we didn't get along. And especially now when it's so many years ago, you know, I don't even know what he does nowadays, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But that's an example. And as a creator, of course, that becomes even more, how should I put it, more of a thing. You have, on one side of the spectrum, you have people that put you up on the highest pedestal imaginable, which is kind of uncomfortable a lot of the time. Not that I don't appreciate people that appreciate the content and want to be part of the community, but it feels weird. Because I spend 24/7 with myself, and I can tell you I ain't that special, fam. And still you have this super hype from some people. Like, oh God, it's and I don't really know how to deal with it. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have people that hate your goddamn guts, and they have never actually met you, nor talked to you. And that's kind of wild. And I think that happens to everyone in life, to some extent. As a content creator becomes more, because there are more people that know about you, but it's not something unique to content creators. And it's something that I learned in life way before I ever did YouTube. And it's okay. It's okay. That's really the best lesson after it. You did bring a wholesome-ish community together.
Good advice, but that must have hurt. Anyway, do you think one should prioritize quantity or quality when you start being a content creator?
Oh yeah, stuff hurt. Stuff can hurt you, but you can still move on. That's the best lesson, I suppose. And, you know, life is a mixture of pain and pleasure, and it will always be like that. I realized that when I did go YouTube full time, even though it was my dream job that I had kind of strived for 10 years, the amount of happy days versus bad days didn't really change that much. Life remained around the same level of happiness. You just had different things you worried about. So, I don't know. It's, make sure you have as many good days as possible, because that's the stuff you're gonna remember in the end. Let's see. Prioritize quantity over quality. If you're just talking algorithms, if you're only talking algorithms, if you want to get into the algorithm, you need to do quality. Massive quality check. You need to get a video that has stellar stats that people click on about a trendy topic, or something that is unique and special, but still something that people find. But on the other hand, when you already are in the algorithm, that's when you stay afloat by producing quantity. So I guess that's the best way I can answer it. I'm talking, of course, out of my perspective, you know, when it comes to YouTube or Twitch or that kind of stuff. Quality to get it going, but quantity to keep it afloat. And hopefully a combination of the two. But that's really the best explanation I have. Oh, thank God my Wi-Fi came back. Oof. Yes. The beautiful, beautiful internet. Whatever should we do about it? Oh, Jesus. Oh, that was kind of Well, sorry. I really should learn not to drink carbonated stuff when I stream, but I always seem to forget it until I start the next time.
I'm really happy I found your channel.
Oh, that's dark.
You
There
are
we go.
awesome and helped me to become even more fluent in English.
Aww.
So thank you for being amazing.
Aww. I really don't deserve that praise, but I'm
That
super
makes
glad
a
to
lot
have you
of
here.
sense. Most people just say you need to find some kind of balance, but that doesn't really help lol.
I mean, it is a balance. I mean, yeah, it's very generalistic advice. But for example, when I make videos on my current content, you can say, I could make 2 videos a day. I could hire 3 more editors. I could, you know, really hard schedule my recordings, and I could push out 2 videos a day. But at the same time, I think that would kill the passion for me. And part of the thing I find fun with what I do is, and this is of course not criticizing anyone else that's doing something different. This is just my very subjective personal taste. What I have kind of come to enjoy myself is searching for weird niche stuff and just digging into it, kind of like what I did with the Fluffy community. It was so much fun to find this really strange thing that at first eyesight, like, what is this? And then you dig into it and you realize, my god, there's lore to this stuff, and there's like an actual community and people have thought this through. Like, damn, okay. I really enjoy that. That is so much fun. The YouTube algorithm is a bully. Yes and no. Sometimes it shows you a lot of love for no reason whatsoever, and sometimes it's the complete opposite. You can have a video that lasts like, oh my god, it has awesome watch time and everyone clicks on it, everyone loved this. But YouTube doesn't show it to anyone. They're like, nah, we're just gonna let this little baby die. It's like, oh, yikes. All right. But yeah, so being content creator. So like with any job, I would say one of the biggest lessons I learned after a while is that no job is perfect. I think that's... Oh god, I keep shaking my desk.
I have a friend that just started her YouTube channel. What more can I do more to support her to become more popular other than liking, subbing and sharing her content?
It's hard. It's hard to give any tangible stuff without the full context, but I would say make her feel passionate about what she does. Provide constructive feedback. For example, if you see something in a video that you like less or something you would like to see different, let them know. But make sure to also tell them how to do it different. It's always easy, especially with content, to say that you don't like something, but it's much harder to exactly explain what could be made different for you to actually like it. So that's the best way, I guess, which is also a very cliche thing. It's like, make sure to be constructive. Oh yeah, it's a chill and nice stream. That's what I needed this Friday. Today was so foggy. It was insane. I woke up this morning and it was a thick fog everywhere. And as the day blew past, it never went away. It was foggy the whole day. It was pitch black. It was kind of interesting. Oh. Chat is being so wholesome. Stinky algorithm. How do you motivate yourself on those days when you really don't feel like doing anything? Provided, of course, this happens at all. It happens to everyone.
The emotions behind creating content like, please sir, I did not expect feels today.
The unexpected feels strike. I would say when it comes to creative content, this varies a lot depending on what kind of job you do or if it is a hobby or something. But when it comes to creative content, allow yourself to take time off. If you're having a bad day, the stuff you do will not come out as good as it could if you push it out. It has actually happened to me multiple times where I sit down a day where I'm just tired and sick of everything and I try to record a video and I'm really not in the mood. The next day I woke up and I just re-record it because it wasn't up to the standard. And that is okay. It's okay to not be productive every single day. That is perfectly okay. And something that you can always keep in the back of your mind when you feel like you're procrastinating or not getting enough done is, what's the biggest consequence of this not happening right now? For example, for myself, I want to record a video today, but I'm not sure if I'm in the right mood for it, if that makes sense. It was kind of an off day. I woke up at a weird hour. I haven't really got any fresh air today, so everything is a bit like, I don't know. It feels a bit off. You know, the worst thing, what's actually going to change? I record it now, or I record it tomorrow morning, pretty much. And what's going to happen in practice is that the video is going to be released maybe one day later, but probably at the same day, because I'm not going to edit it this evening anyway. So, you know, at the end of the day, the consequences for a lot of the things we worry about, especially when it comes to creative work and not being productive in the specific moments, are very, very minuscule. They are very minuscule. And even if there is some consequence to it, sometimes that's okay. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Take one thing, for example. Way back when I studied in university, I used to be really anxious about failing tests. For some reason, it was this kind of performance anxiety or something. I don't want to call it anxiety because it puts too much of a exclamation mark around it, but something like that. And what I realized after I had failed a few exams is that it really doesn't matter. Because in a few months, I will go up and take the re-exam, and I will probably pass it the second time because now I know more about it. And then I will forget I ever failed it in the first place. And that kind of put it in perspective, I suppose. It still sucks in the moment. Of course, it's never fun to get the news that you failed an exam. I'm not going to pretend that, you know, you should be happy about it. But it isn't worth getting anxiety over. Because the consequence, here's the thing. I went up, was anxious about doing an exam. I was anxious when I got the result. I got a bad result, and I was super sad. The actual real-life consequence that had for me, in reality, was that in 3 months, I would have to spend a couple of extra weekends studying again. That's it. That's the consequence. 3 days, quote-unquote, wasted. Which probably weren't wasted, because part of the reason why I failed the exam was because I didn't study enough the first time, you know? So the only consequence that really happened is some of the study time over here got transferred to this period of my life instead. So the hours that were really wasted were, I suppose, the first hours I took the test, like 4 hours or something. So the actual real-life consequence about a lot of things we were anxious about are very, very minuscule. And it's easy to say because I know in the moment when I failed those exams and I did all that work, it feels like the worst thing ever. And you go home that day and everything feels like it sucks. And like, oh, why am I even doing this? What's the point? Like, oh, it will never work out. But when you put it in perspective and take a step back, you realize that it's not the end of the line. There are plenty more chances, and at the end of the day, you can always choose something else, or you can try again, or any of these things, and that's perfectly okay. The click encouraging people to fail. Trying is the first step towards failure. No, but it's more like if you're too afraid to fail, you will never try. And that is something that I know I, for example, struggled with a lot when I was younger. I still struggle with today, I think everyone does. But, for example, when it came to romantic partners, I know I missed out on a lot of interesting people that could have been something because I was too scared to ask them out, or even at a couple of points accept them asking me out because I was nervous, I was worried, I was any of these things. But at the end of the day, the worst thing that could happen is that I have one bad date. And believe me, I've had plenty of those. It's it doesn't matter all that much, in all honesty. Being too worried about failing will also mess up things you could have managed just fine. Yeah, I had a couple of...
Be optimistic. If you don't try, you can't fail. Don't follow this advice, though.
If you don't do anything, you can never fail. Booyah! Yeah, that's that life motto. Yeah, fear is one hell of a drug. It really is. It really is. And it's easier said than done because a lot of it isn't rational. a lot of these feelings that we have about anxiety or about performance, they aren't rational. It's not like you can sit there and just think to yourself, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I have a bad date, or I'm going to have to do this exam again at a later date. Okay, no biggie. Your body or your psyche or your subconsciousness or whatever you want to call it still is sitting there like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. Like, no, chill. But it's it takes practice. It takes practice. It really does. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? Ooh, yes. I get good grades and I'm still anxious at school. Yeah, and a lot of the time, the anxiousness isn't about the specific result. You can be anxious no matter how well you perform, or how poor you perform, you know? I was never a straight A kid. And it's more about how we view ourselves than any actual result, to be honest. It's kind of interesting. I used to get good grades and then anxiety went brrr, and now I don't go to school anymore. Aww. Oh, that sucks. I hope you find your way back. But don't push yourself too hard. Make sure to take care of yourself and that you feel good. And it's okay to take things slow. They usually say life is short, but, you know, there's no point in stressing today. Life isn't that short. Me, it's one bad grade after getting a bunch of good grades. Also me, this is the end of the world. Oh, amen. Oh my god. I had one friend who I used to study with. He was like illegally smart. It was so frustrating. I could study for a test for weeks and barely pass it. He could like procrastinate, go to sleep at, an hour before the test and get straight A's. Freaking, I must have cheated in the genetic pool or something. But he was always anxious before tests. I remember one time we met afterwards, and I said, "Yeah, that probably went okay." Or the entire friend group was like, "Yeah, that went okay, I suppose." And he said, "Oh no, it went so poorly. This might be the first test I ever fail." I got an F. Most of my friends got an F. He got every answer right.
If so, what's the weirdest encounter? Don't know if this has been asked, Greenheart.
Haven't been recognized in a long time. It's only happened... it's happened a few times, but I think most of the time it's been because we have some kind of friend in common or something, and someone told them about my channel or something, and I checked it out, and like, "Oh yeah, you have a channel!" But one time it happened completely out of the blue. And this was many years ago. This was actually back when I did gaming. So this is back in 2012? 2013, I think? So this is a long time ago. I was sitting on a public transport with a couple of friends. What? Sulty? Stop, Sulty? No, Sult? Okay, let's see if it plays the horror sound again. I'm preparing myself for a heart attack. No? Horror? Is it horror? It wasn't horror, it was just a weird scream. Thank you so much, Salty. 5 gifted subs. You're out of control, my friend. You are absolutely out of control. That's how we boost our sub numbers on Twitch. We just gift subs back and forth. we have cracked the system. Booyah. Thank you so much, though. I really appreciate it, man. We're gonna have to stream more horror again soon. That is a blast. Oh, that is a blast. We have a hype train again. Jesus Christ, you guys are out of proportion. Mystery Mo, thank you for 100 biddies. Let's see. Let's let the TTS play. Come on, TTS. This is what I have you for. Do your job.
Gotta be honest, you could probably come up to me wearing a shirt with your name and face on it, and I still wouldn't recognize you.
People look very different in real life compared to what they do online. That is something I've realized myself a couple of times in the past. Noobnat, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. This one is all for you. Mwah. So, when I was recognized in public, it was many years ago, back in like 2013 or something like that. And I was sitting on a public transport with a few friends of mine, and I barely knew them. These were like very fresh friends. Thank you for the and the Sarah and the Sarah. Is this the Pterodactyl? Pterodactyl. Did I get it right this time? I think so. Pterodactyl, thank you for 100 biddies. And these were kind of fresh friends. We hadn't had the time to really get to know each other that well. And we were sitting there just talking about casual things like, oh yeah, this laboratory program code, blah, 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 boring engineering stuff. And then all of a sudden I get poked on the shoulder and some girl leans into me and say, you're that guy from YouTube, aren't you? Like, that was the weirdest thing ever. Hearing your online name in real life by someone you don't know, completely unprepared. My God. It's like a padash. Thank you, Sunny Songs, for subbing your beautiful person this morning. Mwah. Yeah, you did it! Thank you, the Pterodactyl. Oh, oof, the name just rolls off the tongue now, doesn't it? Oh, man. And thank you, Ava. What is that name? Avianamates 112. I hope I got that name right. Probably not. The text is a bit too small for me to read from here. That's why I'm struggling with it, because I'm a boomer. I need, like, binoculars. Ah, it's beautiful. Ooh, let's see. What is this? Oh,
Yay,
nice.
You did it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Moon Spider, for 100 bits. Choo-choo! So that is my life story about YouTube, I suppose. And, Click, can we get some advice for motivation to do stuff? I should be one of those motivational speakers. Just know, you can do anything. When you look yourself in the mirror in the morning, you talk to yourself and say, you'll love... No, but... For me, I have always been motivated when I do something out of my own will. And that is hard.
Oh, it is the choo-choo again.
And it's really hard because your will or creativity or natural drive isn't always necessarily the most reliable thing. It kind of comes and goes, and it's a very bursty pattern. But those are the times I've been the most motivated. And it doesn't have to be everything in your life. It's actually kind of nice not to have everything like that in your life. For example, one way...
Cyano would like some advice to failed musicians, procrastinators.
Oh, I'm not a successful musician by any means. The only reason my music channel has any subs is because I have a Reddit channel that promotes it. But when it comes to motivation, Jesus, the music is getting kind of loud. It switches between tracks. There we go, perfect. So, when it comes to motivation, I have always been most motivated when I feel an ownership over something. That is when I'm the most motivated. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, you know, you must run your own YouTube channel, or you must own your own company, or anything like that. It doesn't have to be that extreme. For example, back when I used to do project management, the times where I was the most invested... Aviani Mates 112, thank you so much for subscribing. This one is all free. I can read, I promise. And Summer, thank you for 500 biddies. That is insane. Jesus Christ. I've already had one hype train. Jesus Christ. And I'm still getting burpy from the soda. Bad life choices. But one thing that made me motivated about things like... There it is. Summer, you're a beautiful person. One thing that made me motivated, even back then, and, you know, compared to the whole thing I do on YouTube now, I didn't own the company, I didn't own specifically I didn't choose my own clients, none of that kind of stuff. But the thing that made me motivated about it was when I felt ownership of a project. When, for example, a project got handed over to me and they said, the success of this customer now depends on you. You have to talk to them, you have to make them happy, you have to solve their issues, both technical and soft people issues.
Boomers unite, purple heart.
Yes, Ali. Boomer is a compliment. Yeah. So, that was the times I felt the most motivated. When I felt ownership, and I felt the result of this project depends on my performance. And that is pressure. that is definitely pressure, which can also, cause stress, obviously. So life in general is kind of a balance between that kind of pressure, because you need the pressure to be motivated to some extent, to a healthy extent. You need to feel that the result of this thing actually depends on what I do. If you just feel like a small cog and nothing you do really matters, but you're kind of doing the bare minimum because it's in the contract, it's like, you won't really be motivated, but you won't really cause trouble either. But if you actually feel like you have ownership of something, it doesn't have to be massive. You don't have to run a company. You don't have to be a CEO or something. As long as you feel ownership for the little thing you do, and you realize that the result of this thing comes from your performance, then I have found the most motivation. It's also when I find the most stress. Obviously. They kind of go hand in hand, and you have to balance the motivation with the stress. But you need that kind of pressure. You need that difficulty level of life tuned up, if that makes sense.
One of my friends once said a very cool thing years ago. If you don't know about doing or not a thing, do it cause you want to do it, but you're afraid of the consequences, but their regret will remain much longer than those hypothetical consequences. This is from Emmanuel Kazu.
Nice. If you don't know about doing a thing or not doing because you want... Yeah. I mean, the thing I think that creates regret about stuff like that, and thank you for... Oh, Salty, you're donating another subscription. Jesus Christ, Salty, you're way too generous, my man. Mwah. Where you have to vibe in a VC afterwards. Oof, my sweet Salty boy. So, I think, for me, those kind of regrets have often been with relations, when I didn't bother, even trying to ask someone out that I obviously liked, or vice versa. But I think the thing that makes it more regrettable is that you don't know. Even if, for example, let's say that you got together with someone in a relation, it didn't work out, or it was very dramatic, or you broke up, or, it created significant heartache, or whatever it might be, you can still be confident in the fact that you tried. And now you know. And now you can move on. Noobnat! Oh man, Noobnat! What? That is too much, Noobnat. That is too much. I can't count that high. But thank you so much for the gifted sub to the beautiful person. This one is all for you. Mwah. This is insane. Holy crap. Level 5, 100%. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. That is nuts. Level 5 hype. Oh my god. What was I even saying? I got completely distracted by that. We were talking about like motivation versus stress, I suppose. Ownership of things you do. Oh, yeah. Regretting things you never tried. That was the thing we were talking about. Yeah. So, I think the thing that makes it more regrettable is that you don't know for sure. Oh my god! I'm not going to be able to keep this conversation on track. Moon Spider. Jesus Christ. Thank you for... And Noobnat again. Noobnat, you have gifted 16 subs. You're absolutely out of control. Jesus Christ. It's just a clicky kitty screaming. Sunny Songs, thank you for the 100 biddies. Mwah. So, hey Click, it's my birthday and you made me very happy that you're streaming. Abs Crystal, thank you. Oh, should we do a birthday? Is it a birthday song? Did I hear a birthday song? I heard a birthday song. It is all time for the birthday song. Yes, chat, you know what time it is. Happy birthday song. It's all happy birthday, happy birthday song. It's all time for happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your birthday. You should really enjoy your birthday. You are getting older. Woohoo! You are now really, really old. Happy getting old day to you. Okay, that's enough of that torture. Anyway, so... Oh, God. Oh, it replayed the video in the background. That's kind of sneaky. It shows I stole it from somewhere else. That's smooth. I have like an awkward subscription banner or something behind my head. I am a
That
professional
little
streamer, I
yay
promise.
sound makes me so happy I don't even know why anyway. Thank you also I love
Aww.
how chill you are when you stream.
It's a nice change of pace. Thank you, AVAnimates, for gifting a sub. That is so generous. And Mystery Mo, Jesus Christ, Mystery Mo, you're out of control. And Kim 100 biddies, Jesus Christ, I'm scrolling up here just to catch up. I think that was it. I think I'm caught up now. Oh my god, like 250% on the level. Jesus Christ, I can't even count that high, fam. I can't even count that high. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, the third time I've been off track. Regretting things you never tried. That is a thing. For me, that is mostly with like relationships in the past, where I didn't really dare to ask someone out that I obviously enjoyed talking to or enjoyed hanging with. Summer! That is... Summer, I just realized that you have gifted 67 subs total to the stream over the months. That is insane. Does that number even exist? It's almost 69 as well. Okay, don't donate more, please, because I said that. For God's sake, don't do it. It's way too much already. Holy shit. But Summer, you are way too generous. You're all way too generous. I'm just sitting here rambling. I'm like the old grandpa sitting and being senile in a corner, like, yeah, kids, back in my day, I was sitting on this sweet piece of person, and my God. Anyway, yeah, your granny used to be. Okay, so regretting things you never tried.
Click, you
I
give
think
me life. I will pay you to make content. Merry Christmas.
Aw, Merry Christmas. Oh, Jesus Christ. Covered. Wait. Cadaverate. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. You're a beautiful person. Holy crap. Mwah. How many gifted subs have we had this hype train alone? Like 500? I don't even know. It's insane.
Grandpa click JK.
JK. Unless he actually is old. Have you thunk about that? Oh my god. And Summer and Moon Spider and Kim, Jesus.
Always a good vibe, purple heart.
Aww, that is so sweet. That is so sweet. I spent like half an hour today setting up the green screen because I struggled so much with figuring out the exact color. So I ended up taking a screenshot, moving it into Photoshop, copying the color code, and then moving it back into OBS to actually make it look decent. I am a professional, I promise. 500 gifted subs. No, it's not a challenge. For God, no. No. It's because I can't count. Don't take any weight in that word. Jesus Christ. So regretting things. Right. Okay. Attempt 5. Regretting things you never tried.
500 gifted subs. Is that a challenge?
It is not. It really isn't. No. I swear. And Noobnat's another gifted sub. Thank you, Noobnat. You're way too generous. Mwah. So, for me, it's mostly been with relationship things that has happened. And I think the thing that makes it regrettable is that you don't know how much potential you lost. I think that's why. Entering into something, for example, a romantic relationship, and it doesn't work out in the end, then you tried it. You probably had at least some good times along the road. And then at the end you grew apart, or differences, or whatever it might be. Thank you so much for subscribing, you beautiful person. Mwah. And that is okay. That is perfectly okay. And it's okay not to take every chance either. And sometimes you should just trust your gut on certain things, obviously. But yeah, I think that's what makes it more regrettable in our minds, because we don't know the potential we lost. So I think for me at least, I've had more regrets about things I never tried than things I did try. But I'm also not a massive risk taker. I'm trying to think if that is a valid statement. I did like abandon a valid career to read memes online. But no, I don't think I'm a massive risk taker. So maybe that's very, subjective coming from me. But I think the things that I regret the most are things I never tried or didn't, dare to do, rather than bad choices I made along the way. Because most of the time, you will make a few bad choices no matter how hard you try in life. That just comes along with it. You don't know everything.
I hope you and everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Pterodactyl, and I hope you have a great day at work too. Thank you for dropping by. Jesus. I'm getting old. Oh my god, it's already getting... The thing here is now it's like winter time, so everything gets dark at like 4 in the evening or something. It's horrible. There is never anything, any brightness in the world anymore. So, we have been streaming for quite a while, at least for me, 1.5 hours. That's acceptable, and I hope you all enjoyed the hangout here today. I'm looking for stuff to raid at the moment. Let's see here. I'm just looking around, see if I find something that looks wholesome and nice. We have... Wait, what is this?
It doesn't know.
I also keep...
Okay, I like this. I found a stream of people playing Among Us, and they're like dressed up for Halloween, all of them. This looks amazing. I'm gonna send you guys over here. Oh my god, it looks so cool. I like that. Alright, let's do it. That sounds... Yes, it's super cute. I just found it now. It was at the top of my recommended.
Hash life jacket for life.
Hash life jacket for life? Oh. Hashtag life jacket. Oh, nice. I'll do that next stream for sure. Remember to recommend them next raid we do. Because I always like finding new people to raid. It's always fun. Bye, Clicky. Thanks for this. Aw, thank you, Summer. And thank you for being... Thank you for just being here. Honestly. Your generosity is way over the top. But I madly appreciate you. And thank you for being here. You're always a blast to have in the streams. And Noobnat, bye-bye. Thank you so much for being generous. Thank you to everyone. Salty, you're insane. Look at all these holes on Mystery Mo. Thank you for the 100 pieces. Noobnat, just subscribe. Noobnat, you're out of control. Absolutely out of control. Let's see if we can mess up these people's discussion with the raid. That would be fun.
Thanks for the chill vibes. This totally made my day.
Oh, it made my day too. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so wholesome.
Thanks for the stream and good advice, friend.
Aww.
I know we're not friends, but still.
Oh, thank you for being here. I madly appreciate. Even though we don't meet in... Oh, it's almost rating. Even though we don't meet in real life, I still consider everyone here an awesome person. Thank you so much for watching today, and thank you so much for the support. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and bye. Mwah!